What's going on, peeps? Currently on the charts, I am seeing something that in my years of chart watching, I have never seen before. An Indian rapper with a major hit in the US.
Wait a minute, get it how you live it. 10 toes in when we standing on business. I'm a big stepper.
This is Hanumankind in his song Big Dawgs, produced by Hyderabad-based artist Call Me. You've likely heard this sound through TikTok or YouTube Shorts, but it's not just the 30-second sample that is so fascinating. It's the entire song and video, in fact. You see, I haven't been impressed with much mainstream hip-hop this year besides the Kendrick Drake beef, something I admittedly don't cover that much here. When I heard about this, I wasn't sure what to expect. However, my expectations as well as many others were blown out of the water. This is a great hip-hop song paying homage to hip-hop legend Project Pat with an equally more impressive creative video featuring a well of death concept. It has a striking amount of energy and clever wordplay. It's not shocking that reactors have been getting bombarded with requests for this song, which have boosted the song's hype even more. But let's slow down here. Who is Hanumankind? How did he get started? He blew up out of nowhere, with some hinting at him being an industry plant. This is my series Unmasking, where we go into detail about an artist come up to determine how they truly got this far. Let's get started. Suraj Cheraket was born on October 17, 1992, in Malappuram, Kerala, India. He is currently 31 years old. Cheraket has been everywhere, man. He grew up in places like Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Egypt, Italy, Colorado, and of course, Houston, becoming fluent in English while spending his formative years in the US. He spent most of those early years in Houston, Texas, beginning in the 4th grade. The boy has loved music since he was a kid, often freestyling in high school with friends for fun off the dome. It became a bit of a party trick where he could just rap about random people he didn't know personally. It was something he enjoyed a lot. He eventually grew up to be a student at Houston Community College from 2011 to 2012. During his time in Texas, Cheraket was introduced to Texas Southern hip-hop and frequently listened to artists like SPM Houston, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Logic, 3 6 Mafia, UGK, System of a Down, and DJ Screw. His first inspirations were Lupe Fiasco and MF Doom due to their wordplay. In 2012, he returned to India and enrolled in PSG College of Arts and Science in Coimbatore to study business administration and finish his degree in 2015. The first day wasn't great when he was harassed as this American Indian kid and somehow got arrested on his first day of college after nearly starting a fight that attracted so many people to the point that the cops got called. He walked in with confidence, ready to make new friends, just to realize how different India is from Texas, meeting a couple fellas that weren't too into that nice stuff. To be fair, he's a bit of a shit talker. Thankfully, Cheraket is quite athletic. The boy was doing karate, football, boxing, and martial arts that ultimately gave him more energy to perform in the later years. Being that one skinny kid who talked crap all the time, he needed to defend himself somehow. Due to him sounding very American, he is still classified as a non-resident Indian to this day, even if he can speak Malayalam fluently as seen in interviews. In 2014, he worked at Goldman Sachs as an intern and became a board member at the Innopapurs Club in PSG for nearly a year. Throughout all this, music was always in the back of his mind. Even in 2012, he was uploading stuff on Bandcamp. Instead of working in an office for the rest of his life, he had a backup plan. He came back to Bengaluru, Karnataka in 2015 and began creating music independently. He hoped to work a traditional 9-to-5 as an operations analyst for Goldman Sachs while pursuing his career in the background, going to random places to do a freestyle and open mic before heading back to his job in the morning. Cheraket was first known as Bad Influence, that he came up with during those earlier open mics for the sake of having a name that wasn't his real one. Inspired by his bad boy habits, he would switch to Hanumankind when he started paying attention to his craft. The name Hanumankind merges the qualities of the Hindu deity Hanunam, honor, courage, and loyalty. There was this pressure brought on himself. He wanted to work multiple corporate jobs and conform to his family's expectations as the first child. To be a good role model even if he was a bit of a troublemaker. He used to fight the bullies. Beginning in 2016, 2017, he started appearing at shows throughout Bangalore. Initially, his family didn't support his rap career. His family was more of a traditional, working at a oil company, raising a family kind of people. But they eventually came around when they realized how much he cared about music. This was a passion for him. He wasn't just wasting his time. He wanted this bad. It took his father attending one of his earlier shows to see how much music mattered to him. After quitting Goldman Sachs in 2017, he began working with independent marketing agency Big City Promotions in April as an alliance and partnership specialist to learn about marketing that would later be applied in the future. He also tried out personal fitness. On July 29, 2017, Hanumankind won the Mic Drop tournament that platforms up-and-coming rappers. Throughout 2018, he was invited to perform at top venues in Bangalore, including Humming Tree and Fandom. Listeners were impressed by his energy and unique style as an Indian rapper primarily rapping in English. They loved his live performances and were eager to see this chaotic fool sweating his ass off. He was building a fanbase from the ground up. When he did these shows, he was under the impression most of the audience didn't know who he was. So if he was able to amaze several people and turn them into fans, that would be validating for him. He enjoyed releasing his demons on stage. On May 7, 2018, he won the Flex Rapper Hunt. This talent stuck with him until he truly wanted to put something out to the world before he didn't have the chance to. He was approaching 28. He didn't want to be in his 40s cursing himself for not giving music a proper shot. He put out his first mixtape, 959, on SoundCloud on June 1st, 2018. 959 was the number on his door. He just casually put it out and didn't expect anything to happen. It was full of beats he stole off YouTube. The people around him seemed to enjoy it, pushing him to do more. It was just a group of friends behind all of this. He was like a lab rat, just trying different stuff to see what works. After shining through these live performances, he later deepened his involvement in music to touch on relatable topics and offer unique perspectives from his side of the world. In 2019, Hanumankind put together two types of live sets, one with a band and one with a DJ, and took these performances to stages across the country. On August 20th, 2019, he got booked for his first festival appearance. NH7 Weekender is a large annual music and comedy festival in India, created by Only Much Louder. It's one of the biggest arts festivals in South Asia. This was its 10th anniversary. He performed for the first time on December 1st, 2019. He was praised for his impeccable flow and energy that attracted so many people as his performance went on. It went from a couple hundred in the crowd to thousands as they witnessed this man perform like an absolute lunatic. Throughout all this, he developed his first EP, Kalari, on December 27, 2019, distributed through MIXTAPE Monopoly. Wild Shit is groovy dance pop rap, ready for the club, focused on goals and staying true. Southside has a vicious flow reminding me of Logic that sees him embrace his Indian roots with a mellow but groovy lifting tabla-based intro, advancing into trap-knocking percussion. Neo Soul Bottle of MH features plenty of singing and harmonies exploring the struggles of a lost generation trying to make their voices heard amidst aimless drifting and self-criticism. His longest, most lyrically focused track at 5 minutes. His debut high-energy single, Daily Dose, deals with corruption refusing to conform. Things were looking up heading into 2020. He headlined the Under 25 Summit in February, but as the story always goes, the pandemic had an effect on his momentum. Shows and festivals were no longer possible at this point. He tried his best to still be musically active anyway, signing with the Illage and distributed the single SLAB, celebrating Southside culture with producer Parmal Shies on July 30th. Through Create Music Group Inc., HMK would be featured on comedy talk show Son of a Bish to perform Molly on August 14th, 2020. A week later, he put out conscious hip-hop track Options on August 21st. This was inspired by HMK's observations of hardworking people in Bangalore struggling with low pay. It was previously being teased during the peak of the BLM riots in June. He took on their pain and struggles in his writing. Connections continued to be made. He was reached by OnePlus India to be featured in their documentary United by Hope, released on September 13th, discussing the pandemic. Then he was included in the 2020 NH7 Weekender article. For the next few weeks, HMK and his producer Call Me had an idea idea for the next EP. It was a bit of a speedrun project where Hanumankind wrote these 4 songs in 4 days to get his emotions out. Call Me made 4 beats in the same amount of time for him. It was promoted through the song No Hook to hype up fans before putting out the EP surface level a day later. Both artists saw this 2 to 3 week warm-up project as a chance to see what would come out of it, and this is what we were given. No Hook was a rebellious single verse boasting about his lifestyle over a trap beat on top of choir samples. Harsh Stomper Cowboy Samurai tackles the need to survive doing whatever it takes. Has some neat synth work towards the end. Catharsis is a braggadocious, raw mix, showcasing his rapping ability and discussing his frustrations with society. Hard-hitting, bass-filled, experimental rest and power with dubstep influences is another single verse expressing his struggles and hope to succeed. Pays respect to the legendary hip-hop track Can I Kick It? This project was followed up with another Parmanal Shies collab having this hunger for success. Beer and Biryani on December 16th. Going into 2021, he didn't feel pressured to be consistent or release a lot of material. He seemed to want the best music possible instead of dropping anything rushed. Only evident on March 5th, 2021 with the conscious release of Genghis, a song about change and its impact mostly influenced by the year of 2020. A chaotic time filled with lockdowns, protests, violence, and loss of life. It deeply affected the music industry as well. Hanumankind saw this year 2021 as a new era, ready to face challenges head on. One of the rising star's biggest moments in 2021 was being featured in Netflix's Nama Stories on July 6, focused on celebrating the culture and brilliance of India's southern states. Declared the Netflix Indian South anthem. By this time, he had been featured on platforms such as Vice, First Post, Colors X Studios blog, Times of India, Indian Express, VH1 Supersonic, Casa Bacardi, and Under 25, setting the stage for impressive future releases. A confident, braggadocious attitude on Damn Son arriving August 27th, and the atmospheric dream-chasing cloud rap of Skyline on October 12th, where he temporarily went independent. Leading into 2022, he began doing more collaborations. Lola's Chant on February 4th with Call Me, having this stomping, stadium-ready feel discussing his come-up. Months later, he joined Gully Gang Records with Mass Appeal India as a distributor, first releasing Conscious Third Eye Freeverse on May 12th, with Karan Kanchan taking us on this journey of HMK finding himself, followed up by Rush on June 9th with Call Me. We then enter a bit of a lull here. On July 4th, 2022, Hanumankind announced he would be taking a break from live shows to focus on his craft. It won't be the first time he ditches the internet out of nowhere. This was until January 20th, 2023. You see, in the silence, Hanumankind had snagged something huge. Before this release, he secured a record deal with Def Jam India, that is Universal Music Group's India hip-hop division within India and South Asia. With this, he can easily promote his music in foreign countries and reach a wider audience globally, introducing Go to Sleep with a longtime collaborator, Parmanal Shies. It contains a reference to Fight Club, Kermit, and Jeff Hardy. Mosh pits are guaranteed for this one. This song was praised for Hanumankind's bold style, seeing how sleep and comfort hold us back. Change is inevitable, and everything might just be a dream. By then, he had built up a core fan base willing to show up to every show he did, even if he wasn't that big yet. But following Go to Sleep, he embarked on a personal journey to discover his true path, accepting that his music, whether it's a success or failure, is part of life's journey. He once again went incognito, barely doing any shows. There was AAYO on September 14th at least, blending South India's Not a Swarm melodies with bass and trap beats, featuring energetic verses from MC Cooper, Thirumalai, and HMK celebrating freedom. It's guaranteed to get the crowd hyped. Thankfully, he would return to do his first show in front of a sold-out crowd at Free Ground Music Festival in February 2024. One beautiful sight is seeing his mother in the crowd watching her boy live out his dreams. Another huge look was being featured on the official soundtrack for the 2024 Malayalam language film Avasham. It was a box office success in India. This definitely wouldn't be his biggest moment this year though. Yup, his breakthrough came a few months later with the release of Big Dawgs, featuring longtime producer Call Me on July 10th, 2024. It had a music video directed by Bijoy Shetty, and it was filmed in his hometown district of Malappuram. The video showcases HMK performing inside a traditional carnival attraction known as the Well of Death. This video was also featured on the official Kerala Tourism Instagram page. The song was recorded back in February, only deciding to release it now just to put new music out after a year of barely any material. It was written in 20 minutes, with the beat being cooked within the same amount of time. It's an absolute anthem ready for any gym set, blending traditional Indian swagger with Western musical influences, especially in the Texas rap scene. It combines punk energy with intense drum beats, a true showcasing of his lyrical skill and clever wordplay, and has these metaphors describing his incredible journey accomplished by hard work and determination. As the story goes, Big Dawgs was spread across the internet with posts on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube reactions, and Reddit, garnering millions of impressions. Mostly out of shock, HMK also credits popular streamer iShowSpeed's reaction to the music video as a key moment that introduced the song to a wider US audience. Speed was asking himself why it sounded so good and was the best Indian song he's heard since Tunic Tunic Ton. This is the type of song where one might have low expectations before having them blown out of the water when the beat drops. Big Dawgs would experience international recognition even in the States, debuting at number 57 on the US Billboard Hot 100. It is currently at number 23. The song has racked up 150 million streams on Spotify, went viral on TikTok collecting 111 million views, and saw over 1.6 million searches on Shazam due to how far the song was being spread. Everyone wanted to know who this hard hitter was. This success led to Hanumankind being featured on the cover of Spotify's global hip-hop playlist and signed with Capitol Records on July 29th. Being managed by talent agency Imaginary Friends, HMK was officially sitting in the Global 200's top 10 and pushing Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar off the top spot as the most streamed rap song at the moment. Before Big Dawgs, he was sitting at 40,000 subscribers on YouTube in early July. Now, he is at 1 million. Even Indian billionaire Anand Mahindra praised Hanumankind, describing him as extraordinary and raw. It's not all positive though from internet users. Some ignorant people have accused the song of copying the flow of Project Pat from Drake's Knife Talk, despite the man acknowledging him in the song. It was actually inspired by Poppin' My Collar, not Knife Talk. He's been a dedicated fan of rap for a long time now. Project Pat himself co-signed the track, so I doubt he's in any legal trouble. He also received racist comments from a bunch of weirdos in the comment section of posts discussing the track, filled with cruel stereotypes. Luckily, HMK has thick skin and has been able to ignore the hate. The future's looking bright. Given the fact he didn't even know he'd be doing music like this, he's just happy to be here. He wants to collaborate with JID, Kendrick, J. Cole, Denzel Curry, and of course Project Pat or anyone from 3 6 Mafia. HMK plans to put a full project that I'll definitely be awaiting. I see this moment as a chance for Desi hip-hop to cross over in a similar way to how a British hip-hop act like Central C has been making moves in America, proving that it's not just Americans who can make great rap music. This guy is definitely one of my favorite rappers coming up right now. I'm excited to see what's next. If it isn't obvious, Hanumankind is definitely not an industry plant. He's been working his ass off since 2015 building up a fan base, making smart connections, and navigating his career properly. Even before Big Dawgs, he was killing it in India. I'm not sure how long he'll last. If he wants to continue to steamroll through the US, he could probably collaborate with some American artists and do shows here. It's a bit early to tell what will happen, but he's got a strong fan base in India anyway that he can fall back on. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, make sure to like and subscribe for more base content. I don't cover rap too often, just found this man's story to be quite fascinating and motivating. I'll see you all in the next one. Make sure to love all and peace.
Thank you.